Public workers planned to take to the streets of St. George for 1 p.m. Friday afternoon for its Freedom March, but the Ministry of Education made it clear that its principals and teachers were not granted permission to participate. In a circular issued by the Ministry of Education and signed by the Chief Education Officer Angela Findlay, mere hours before the planned Victory March staged by the public officers, the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development and Information issued a statement informing its members that no permission was sought and none was given for them to participate in this event. The circular states in part, and I quote, "Teachers and principals in charge are further informed that to date, the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development, Religious Affairs and Information are not in receipt of any correspondence, written or otherwise, to this effect." It further advised all members of staff to take appropriate measures to account for all staff who fail to comply with this directive. Public Relations Officer of the PWU, Daisy Hazard, says they are aware of the correspondence from the ministry.
We're looking at a letter, at a statement which seeks to say to workers that they do not have permission to attend or permission to participate in a union event. What we want to say as a PWU categorically, we respect the office of the CABSEC. We enjoy that relationship. We get mutual respect. And as a union, we will never do or have done anything that would seek to jeopardize that relationship in any way. When we do have to get permission for events and time off for our members based on activities that our union has organized, we do so properly.
Hazard says they are guided by the Constitution. However, what concerns them is whether or not there is a suggestion or an attempt to suggest to workers that they ought to seek permission to participate in anything that they should be free to participate in according to the Grenada Constitution.
But we are looking at our Constitution, and we are looking at 11.1, which says that except with his own consent, no person shall be hindered in the enjoyment of his freedom of assembly and association. That is to say, his right to assemble freely and to associate with other persons, and in particular, to form or belong to trade unions or other associations.
The Grenada Union of Teachers told GBN that in a letter addressed to the Chief Education Officer, Ms. Findlay, dated March 31st, did inform the ministry of its intent to hold a Freedom March, stating, and I quote, "The National Executive of the GUT hereby informs that all its members will be called out tomorrow, April 1st, to participate in a pension victory march in St. George commencing 1 p.m. The request is made in accordance with Article 3.1 on the 21st of the 6th, 2003 and Article 6, 21.11.3 of our collective bargaining agreement. The union further informs that all members from all parishes should assemble by 1:15. The National Executive thanks you in advance for your kind cooperation and consideration and apologizes for the late notification." Unquote. Christina John, GBN News.